I'm Bevan with Global Cast Resources. We've understood that missions mobilization is not just about recruitment. It's also about this long-term process of shifting worldview. So we like to talk about deal with the roots, not just the fruits. The fruit is the things we see in terms of how people are making decisions and their actions, but the roots is what we believe. And if we see a lack of missions fruit in this case, lack of people praying, giving, and going, oftentimes, most of the time, it's because of what we're believing in our worldview roots. So we are always asking, what are the worldview roots that we need to address that will lead to much more missions fruit as the body of Christ? And I think one of these worldview roots is what you might call closed universe thinking. See, we are saturated by the world. We are believers and we read the Bible, and yet we're more influenced by the worldviews around us than we'd like to admit, I think. And one of those worldviews, some of those worldviews are things like naturalism and secularism. And in those worldviews, what you see is what you get. It's a closed system, and only what's in it is what's available to us. There's nothing beyond that. And so I think that really influences how we function as even believers in terms of generosity with our time, talent, and treasure. Because just imagine a simple illustration of a piece of pie. If I take a bigger piece of pie, that means that there's less pie for everybody else. And so imagine this community that's struggling to do the ministry they want to do locally. They don't have it in the budget to do all that's in their heart to do. Good stuff. And then somebody, a missions mobilizer, comes and says, we need to be doing more for the unreached over there in the uttermost parts of the earth. There's like, well, we're not going to sacrifice what we need to be doing here locally in order to do something for those people way over there. And that is almost seems like, of course, makes sense. It's just wise not to sacrifice this for that. And so we have to make a case for how God functions differently. God is functioning in an open universe. He's able to create something out of nothing. For him, there is abundance. There's more where that came from. For everything he created, there's more where that came from. And we can see that we can never outgive God. When we give in the face of our own need, there is this abundance that comes. So we can see this in the life of Jesus, where there was 5,000 men, right? He's teaching, plus women and children. And they're hungry, and the disciples said we should feed them, and he said, you feed them. Remember this? And they freaked out, and they scrounged around and found a boy with a lunch, a couple fishes and pieces of bread, and fed all of those folks with leftovers. There was abundance, not just what they needed, but more. God functions in an open universe, and there's story after story of communities who have taken the courage to give to the least reached, to the unreached, in the face of their own need, in the face of their own building program. And God has honored that and expanded the whole piece of pie so they have more for what they want to do locally and are able to even increase what they are able to do globally. I think this is a worldview root that we can address in ourselves and in our communities.
Mentoring missions advocates. This is globalcastresources.com.